The story of the Green Children of Woolpit began just outside the village of Woolpit in Suffolk, England in the 12th century. It was harvest time, and reapers were working diligently to collect their crops from the fields when they saw two children, a young girl and a younger boy, emerge from one of the wolf pits after which the town is named. For those who don't know, wolf pits were large holes dug into the ground in order to trap wolves. Seeing two children emerge from one would be a startling discovery in itself, but the two children who emerged were anything but ordinary. Their skin displayed a green hue, and their clothing was made of entirely green, natural materials, as if skillfully fashioned from summer leaves and soft meadow grass. Even the color of their eyes was green. The strange children were soon taken to the village, where it was quickly discovered that they did not speak any English, but were able to converse with one another in a language that no one could recognize. Wishing for the children's well-being, the townsfolk soon wanted to feed them, but this presented an entirely new problem. The children did not want, or even seem to recognize, any of the meat, bread, and vegetables that were brought to them. That was, until they were brought beanstalks. The children then began to tear apart the stalks, not knowing that the beans were inside the pods. Once they were shown where to find the beans, they appeared delighted and ate of them to their heart's content. It seemed that this was the only type of food in the standard English diet that was familiar to them. It took some time to get the children accustomed to eating bread, in addition to the beans, though neither really took to meat, cheese, or the wide variety of available vegetables. The children also behaved much wilder than other children in the village. It was evidently apparent that these children had no understanding of the etiquette and cultural norms of the villagers. Over time, the young boy, who was already somewhat sickly, became depressed. He eventually succumbed to illness. The young girl, however, lived a full life. She began to eat a wide variety of other foods and later lost the green hue to her skin. In the course of her life, she learned English, was baptized, later married, and at some point took on the name Agnes Barr. Though she was always considered to be loose and wanton in her conduct, never fully adapting to English customs. But what is perhaps most fascinating of all, after she learned English, she was finally able to recount the story of what happened to her and her younger brother. She said that they came from a place called St. Martin's Land, and that everyone in their home country was green, as she had once been. St. Martin's Land was a place that never had sunlight, at least not in the traditional sense of a sun rising and setting. Instead, the land existed in a perpetual twilight. As she described it, they enjoyed a degree of light like what is after sunset. Away from their village, across a river, was another luminous land, far brighter than what they were used to. One day, the two children were herding their father's cattle, and followed the herd into a cavern. They soon became lost, and were unable to find the point where they had entered. After searching around for some time, they eventually heard the sound of bells ringing, which guided them to an exit. Once they arrived, they were blinded by the intensity of the light, since they were not used to it being so bright out. And that was when the villagers of Woolpit discovered them.